Do you need an office or a basement or a shed or a co-working space, or what do you need for your business right now? Hey everybody, I'm Mike Claudio, owner of WinRate Consulting and host of the Big Stud Sales Podcast. Making the decision to upgrade into an office typically can be difficult. Right now, Ryan's going through it. We're in the content cave. If you're unaware, this is the content cave. Ryan needs to relocate from the content cave, and he's been going through that process, and I went through that process. I think I did it the wrong way. I think Ryan did it the right way. But ultimately, you got to figure out what's right for you. Here are some things to think about and have the mindset around. How much time are you going to be there? Are you doing it because you need the space or because you think you need it for the image for your business? We are home service companies. We are general contractors. 90+% of our meetings do not happen in our office. They happen on job sites. To figure out what is the cost of the space. I can't give you an equation of what makes sense for you. Your business is all different sizes, all different revenue streams. But ultimately, when you start hiring employees, this is when I really think it start to look at things. So right now for WinRate, I don't have an office anymore. I got rid of it at the beginning of 2020. I wasn't using it. It was before the COVID thing happened. I just wasn't using it like I thought I would because my audience and my client base really started getting national, so I wasn't as local anymore. For you though, do you have multiple office employees, like a bookkeeper, like a controller, like a dispatcher? Do you have a need for storing of equipment and material? Do you have a place to meet with your employees on a regular basis? These are all questions you have to ask. I would say for a fact, most people get one a little too early. Look, all different stories, all different variables, all different outliers. But in general, I think people feel like, well, I need to do this because it's for my clients, or I need to do this because it looks the right way, or I need to do this because I think it's the right thing to do. Calculate it. What is it going to cost you per month, and how many hours are you going to use it? Like if it's, let's say, $1,500 a month, and you're going to be there 5 hours a month, is that office worth $300 an hour to you? If it is, great. Go forth and conquer. If it's not, if you're like, I just don't see how we're going to get an extra $1,500 a month because of that office, that's the equation. It's pretty straightforward. But here's some variables. There are co-working spaces and rent type spaces that you can utilize as a smaller office that can be very helpful early on. A place for you to go work. You don't need to rent a whole space or get a storefront. Go get a 2 or 3 person office at one of these co-working spaces. You pay a smaller fee. Sometimes they are non-contractual, sometimes they are. You got to figure out what makes sense for you. But ultimately, that's where I started. I got an office that was a co-working space. It was basically myself when I started. I was a solopreneur. I mean, I have a lot more employees now. So ultimately, I needed it for client meetings, or at least I thought. Looking back, I probably spent, I don't know, 10 or 15 grand overall in that investment between office furniture and rent for the year. And I don't think I got that ROI on that. I thought I needed it for the image of me being an expert consultant, but I feel like I could have gotten the same amount of value by traveling around and meeting with my clients in their offices. I do that a lot though. I'm big on like preparing, investing, putting forth the right image so that I get the right return from the clients when they look at what I'm offering. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. So make sure you don't sign any long-term contracts. Anything more than a year initially, I think would be a problem. Don't sign a 3-year lease if you have never had an office before and you have 2 employees. I think that's a bad decision. I think it sets you up for failure and a much costly error on the back end. A year, worst case, you're out in a year, shouldn't hurt you too bad. The other option of this is rental, right? So from a equipment storage, there's plenty of lots you can rent space in. There are storage facilities you can store stuff in. You probably don't need, in your mind right now, a bigger space. You just need more of it. So maybe finding storage units, finding lots you can park stuff on, finding secure locations for you to put your things, whatever that might be, trailers, trucks, containers, equipment, material, whatever that might be. But try to, again, mitigate risk by limiting the exposure of how long you plan to be there. Because a lot of times it's going to be trial and error. You might need it for a few months a year, but you don't need it for all 12. You might need it for a year or 2, and you need to upgrade, right? Because it's not just how long does this fit my lifestyle. So that's kind of the last point in this. Look at something that would suit you for the next 18 months. I don't think you can plan much further than that. So you say, okay, this is what I believe I'm going to project and grow over the next 18 months. Here's the amount of space I would need at the end of that 18 months, and then it would be time to upgrade again. That way you're not finding something, you're not overpaying for something, you're not renting, 10,000 square feet and using 1,000 square feet of it because I might need it at some point. So figure out what you're going to need for the next 18 months, rent, lease, buy that with the intent to upgrade if things project and things continue to grow as they go. Overall, the biggest thing about space in an office, and whether it's buying or leasing or renting or whatever it might be, is protecting the risk. We talked about growth and risk in a previous video. This is one of those decisions where you're going to have to potentially outlay money or outlay expense or outlay risk for your business, uncertain of the return. So make sure that you can use it per hour the value is there. Again, $1,500 a month. If you're only gonna be there 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week, is it worth $150 to $300 an hour to you? Are you getting that value from it? If not, let your employees work from home or find another alternative. The other side of it is length. The third side is ultimately how long will that suit your needs? A lot of variables there, a lot of different situations, a lot of different, kind of outliers for you as a company that might play into that. Obviously, comment below, as always, if you have a question specifically about your situation. But those are a few things I think you should review, diagnose, and understand before making a final decision and signing that agreement, whether purchase or lease, for your business. Anyway, those are a few things I think you need to do before making that final decision. So use that, implement it into your business, ask yourself those questions so that you can win fast